Welcome to CareSure's How to Present a PowerPoint presentation for the company. I would like to let you know that this PowerPoint is available on the CareSure's Share Drive in printouts and dot points for a clear understanding. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the people who are traditional custodians of the land. I would like to pay respects to the elders, both past and present, of the nation, and extend my respects to the other Aboriginal people present. Now we begin with the title page. This is just an example of what we need to have. Title, presenter, the hearing loop activated, and the company's logo. So the elements of the title page, we have Arial used as it is a nice and clear font that helps those that might be slightly visually impaired to clearly see. Using the size 16 and in black can allow for those that may have visual colour impairments to see and helps maintain a good contrast. Largely displayed in the centre of the title, in the centre of the page, you will have the company's name and who's presenting and possibly the logo. For this instance, we had the logo in the bottom right hand corner though. We had a photo that showed that can show our clients and our staff one of the locations that we have for CareSure. That is filtered throughout the title page. And then we had the hearing loop activated for visually and hearing impaired community and staff members in the other bottom left hand corner. The content slide. As again, we have Arial in a size 16 font, keeping it at black to maintain the good contrast, and having everything in bullet points. This is more manageable for not only you as the speaker, but also your clients to read the screen as it is not cluttered. You will need the company's logo displayed throughout the PowerPoint as a reminder to the viewers who we are speaking on behalf of. Throughout this PowerPoint, you will see that we have the logo in the bottom right-hand corner. Having a simple photo that may help you express what you are trying to portray at the time, and the logo in the bottom corner will help remind those who you are speaking on behalf of. There will be handouts for those that have impairments. This was an example of the acknowledgement of country that I had said at the beginning of the PowerPoint. This will need to be said after your title page of you introducing what you are going to talk about today. The use of photographs. So there's some constraints when it comes to using photographs. You need to be able to justify your reasoning of why you have used these photographs, including the diversities of it. When using any information of a staff member or client, you need to have their consent that allows you to use the information or photographs of them if they are included. The Privacy Act protects it the Privacy Act protects it. It is essential to keep personal information confidential unless they have signed a consent form. We as CareSure encourage our staff to use consent forms that can be found on the shared drive when they wish to share information or photographs of clients or other staff members. CareSure has a duty of care for not only its clients but its staff as well. We have responsibilities that include identifying risks and help minimise and avoid them. We can do this by using these consent forms that we provide on the shared drives. All photographs that are used in the presentations, promotions, and other materials that show imagery must not contain discrimination towards others you need to keep in mind the race, the gender, the age, and the cultures, just to name a few. Accessibility issues when it comes to delivering a PowerPoint presentation. You may have people that are visually impaired. In this case, you need to have the PowerPoint largely sized in the font and handouts. Letting clients know before the presentation will allow them to have access to the information before the actual presentation. You may include sending these handouts out to them. Those with hearing impairments, having an Auslan interpreter or hearing loops accessible. Letting clients know once again before the presentation by sending emails to staff or clients to help prepare them for the presentation. Linguistic diversity, using a headset translator or interpreters at the time of the presentation. This will need to be organised before the presentation, and the clients will need to be informed prior to the presentation commencing. This can be done with a survey handed out before the presentation event date. Those with intellectual impairments, providing support workers on standby with the client or staff member to help them maintain a calm and nurturing environment. You will be able to inform them by email, social media, pamphlets, or even posters in the event locations. Allow for a more hands-on session, as this can help the thought process of some people, as it can be more beneficial. We then follow on with the workflow. You need to assign tasks to a staff member to prepare the presentation and identify what topics that they will be talking about. You will set initial guidelines and then review the procedures to address inclusively for the diverse audience. Discuss with the staff key issues, example, who is the audience and who needs to be catered for, whether they're hearing impaired or visually impaired. Staff prepare the draft, notations, and email to the managers. They then review these. Staff incorporate feedback from the managers and the HODs. Staff then prepares the draft presentation and incorporates audience requirements like the hearing loop and handouts before the presentation begins. The PowerPoint presentation draft is then sent to the manager and HODs for the reviews. If the manager says that there needs to be an editorial for the presentation, you are to edit the presentation to allow for approval. If the manager says it's all okay for the go-ahead and nothing else needs to be added, you finalise the presentation ready for staff and community users. Go through the checklist that we have as the workflow and make sure that everything is required is portrayed in the presentation. This PowerPoint presentation template is for CareSure to acknowledge and reflect their diversity when it comes to the delivery of the staff's commitment to clients and also fellow CareSure colleagues. This is outlined in the organisation's key learning outcomes by identifying the key outcomes and the diversity of the audience that we present to. We can help ensure that there is accessibility for those that may have impairments throughout the presentation. We encourage throughout the presentation that the inclusions of all our staff members and clients are there. That we continue to reflect the diversity of our community. This presentation template is just a small part of CareSure's communication plans. Do you have any questions?
Yes, you said that you're using a light blue background to make sure you don't deter from the text. So why did you use two different colours for the title page and the contents page?
Okay, so if we scroll back up to the title page, you'll see that this is a light blue and it's followed by still a light blue, but it was a little bit darker. I've used the two different colours as a visual clue to say that the two slides do have a difference and that there is two different points to be spoken about. So we're going to identify what needs to be on the title page and then what needs to be on the contents slide. I didn't want to make that confusing to be the same colour.
Okay, so another question. Once you get permission to use a person's photograph, does that mean that you can use other photos of that person in your presentation?
No, you cannot use a different photograph even if that person that's in the same photograph has given their consent. This is obviously done with our consent forms that is on the shared drive. The person that is in the photograph needs to be aware of what photographs are being used. So if this person is in a different photograph, you need to have that second consent form. And even for the time period, say if you use that one particular photograph for the presentation, in a year's time, you need to make sure that it is still okay for you to be able to use their photographs. Is there any other questions? Thank you for listening.